Hey everyone, welcome to Hunters Connect. As a new hunter, going to the shooting range can be an intimidating task, but it doesn't have to be. So in today's episode, we're going to cover some basic knowledge that's going to help you be more confident and feel more comfortable next time you go to the shooting range.
Hey folks, Randy Newberg here. We all know that this last year has brought a record number of first-time gun owners and hunters. And if you are one of the members of that club, welcome. We're happy to have you here. Hopefully by now, you've been able to do some dry firing and really get to know how your gun operates. When you're ready to start training with live ammunition, your local shooting range is a great place to start. But for newcomers, it can be a little intimidating if you've never done this before. Fear of accidentally breaking a rule, making a mistake, or just not knowing the ropes can be pretty overwhelming. I'm here with Nosler at the Redmond Rod and Gun Club in Central Oregon, and what we want to do today is give you 5 basic points. The 5 points that will make you comfortable and safe at any gun range. Let's get started. Every shooting range is going to be a little different, so it's really important to know a few things before you arrive. Visit your range website or give them a call for basic information like range fees and hours of operation. You'll also want to consider what target distances that range offers and whether that range is an indoor range or is it an outdoor range. Indoor ranges are typically catered towards handgun training, and the targets are usually somewhere between 25 and 50 yards. You'll often find longer target distances at the outdoor ranges, and those ranges can be from 100 yards all the way out to 500 yards. So if you're a new hunter, this means you can get some practice in and do it at similar distances with similar conditions to that which you'll encounter when you're out hunting. You'll want to be aware of any specific range restrictions, and I'll give you an example. Some ranges only allow pistol or rimfire shooting, and a lot of ranges, they might not even allow shotgun shooting unless they have a designated shotgun area. Next, you'll want to make sure when you show up you have everything that you need to have a safe experience while you're here at the range. Things you should bring to the range include necessary items like eye protection. Now that's pretty much a requirement at all ranges. Ear protection, like earmuffs, earplugs, and or both. Paper targets for practice, and a gun rest if you're shooting a rifle. A few more items you may want to consider are maybe some markers to label your shots if you're using the same target for several groups. I always bring a pair of optics with me. Sometimes it's my binoculars and sometimes it's a spotting scope, because that offers this high level of clarity and magnification where right from my shooting position, I can look downrange and see where my shots are hitting without having to physically go and check it. And most importantly, don't forget your firearm and make sure you have the correct ammunition for that firearm. Your gun must be in a case when you arrive, and do not, under any circumstance, carry a loaded firearm onto the range. And before you leave your house, double or triple check that your firearm is empty. And this piece that I'm going to tell you is really important. Always practice the 4 basic rules of firearm safety whenever you are at a range. Treat every firearm as if it was loaded. If a firearm can fire, assume that it will fire. Even if you're absolutely sure that that firearm is empty, and even if someone tells you it's empty or clear, always check yourself. Never point your gun at anything you do not intend to shoot. This is particularly important when loading and unloading your firearm. This might sound super common sense, but always keep your muzzle pointed in a safe direction. Always keep your finger off the trigger until your sights are on the target and you're ready to shoot. This will prevent any possibility of an accidental discharge. Always be sure of your target and what's beyond. Do not shoot unless you know exactly what your shot is going to strike. Almost every range will have range officers. We call them ROs for short. They run the range, and their sole job is to make sure that everyone stays safe. What they say goes, so make sure you're paying attention to RO commands. The RO will let the shooters know when the range is hot, which means it's okay to shoot. Sometimes you'll hear the RO announce the range is cold or cease fire, and all shooters must unload, lock their firearms open, step back, and wait for permission to go down range before checking or retrieving their targets. And finally, there are a few unwritten rules of range etiquette, and those rules are here for a reason. We all want to have a safe and enjoyable range experience. You're going to find that most folks at the range are some pretty friendly folks. They like to talk guns and shooting. But the time to talk guns and shooting is during the breaks or while changing targets during a ceasefire. These are the perfect time to say hello, maybe introduce yourself, and ask any questions you might have. With that being said, remember this. Try not to disturb the other shooters while they're actively shooting or when they are handling their firearms. These things require a lot of focus, and even a well-intentioned conversation can distract shooters from the task at hand. And finally, leave your range better than you found it. Pick up your trash and clean all the rifle firing stations. Police your targets, pull your targets, and all that is just kind of common sense. But it's definitely a courtesy expected from all of us who are shooting at a range. There you have it, folks. A few tips for you to be safe and confident out here at the range. And just remember, you're not alone. There are millions of new shooters coming out to the range. But when you come here, practice safety, be confident, and have fun.